Hi everyone, I'm back with my final vinyl video for 2011, a quick run through of my top 10 New Zealand music releases put out on record this year. There were quite a few releases which would be on this list if only they'd come out on vinyl. Things like an Emerald City's second album, The Fourth, a trio of great releases on Round Trip Mars Records. There was She's So Rad debut LP, Tourette's Tiger Belly, and a fantastic debut album from the Vietnam War, and a lot of other New Zealand releases as well, which only came out on CD or download. But of the material that did come out on vinyl, and there were a few times during the year when I thought that the releases were few and far between, actually at the end of the year when I looked back, there was a lot of really great material, and it was pretty hard to whittle it down to 10 to show you in this video. So here we go in alphabetical order. First up, the Bats, Free All the Monsters, their 8th album, out on Flying Nun Records, back on that label for their 30th anniversary, kind of resurrection year for that label. And the Bats, warm, melodic, mid-tempo, classic indie pop, and this sits alongside any of their other material from their long career. Robert Scott, Kay Woodward, Malcolm Grant, Paul Keane, yeah, really fantastic album, and that's what's playing now. Next up, this is a bit of an eclectic bunch really. I don't listen to a lot of metal, but this album, the debut album, self-titled from Beastwars, has been on a lot of people's top 10 lists for this year. And look at the sleeve on this, classic kind of metal fantasy gatefold sleeve. And this is, you know, just the kind of the right side of growly for me, which is the not so growly side of vocals. Huge riffs, monumental sound. A really impressive effort there from Beastwars, and it's just been repressed as well, out now on white marbled vinyl, so it's well worth checking out because the first pressing was all sold out. The Cakekitchen have been around for years. Graham Jeffries, he started off with his brother Peter in This Kind of Punishment in Flying Nun's heyday in the 1980s. He's been going as Cakekitchen, sporadically putting out albums since. This is Kangaroos, My Top Paddock, not very well known, only 300 pressed, not too many people talking about this, but very kind of quirky, strong vocals, really nice production. It took a long time to put together, so the production's kind of, it's really interesting. There's lots of different things going on in here, lots of different instrumentation, very well crafted and well thought out, and interesting. Every time I listen to it I'm picking up something new from the Cakekitchen. Delaney Davidson was one of my discoveries of 2011. I've talked before about how he had a song, Little Heart, nominated in New Zealand's Silver Scroll Songwriting Awards. That was off his album previous to this, Self-Decapitation. Checked him out and found this album was coming out, Bad Luck Man. This album from 2011 out on Swiss label Voodoo Rhythm Records. It's out on white vinyl there, and fantastic. This is very kind of bluesy, Southern American, kind of gothic kind of sound, harking back in some ways to some of the kind of, you know, the kind of murder ballad blues material. He's now back in New Zealand after living in Switzerland for a while, based in Christchurch and touring and creating a bit of a name for himself, and this is a great album, Bad Luck Man. From Dunedin, this is Idiot Prayer, Falconer. This is a limited release, only 100 copies pressed, and if you think of kind of big guitar-based, anthemic, kind of post-rock, not instrumental, you've got some vocals on here as well, but a tribute in the 5th song on this EP, Belter Space, to the classic New Zealand band of that name. Sausage Spectrum, a great 9-minute instrumental track on here, and yeah, very nice if you like things like HDU, Belter Space, maybe things like, you know, for overseas bands like Explosions in the Sky, that kind of thing. Yeah, really impressive. And this is out on Monkey Killer Records, which is a vinyl only label from Dunedin. Pretty much anything they've put out is worth checking out. And that's their release for 2011, pretty limited releases on that label, doing it for love, not for the money. Spirit Lights is the second album from Family Cactus. This came out early in the year, and this is, I think, an incredible incredibly well crafted, well thought out indie songs. This is, yeah, it's a beautifully produced and written album, nicely put out as well. You've got clear vinyl. It's got this great big poster in here as well. On the back, the lyrics on the back there. And David Kilgour and the Heavy Eights. This is also on Archhill Records. Left by Soft, another one from earlier in the year. Contended for the worst album cover of the year though. Just plain sleeve with the CD sheets stuck on there. But David Kilgour, who writes things which kind of first listen kind of these nice kind of pop songs, but there's an amazing guitar playing on here as well. And David Kilgour, of course, from The Clean, and got a fantastic solo career, and also put out with his band The Heavy Eights. And this is classic David Kilgour, classic, I suppose, New Zealand indie pop, and a really nice album, one that I come back to a lot. Another new discovery for me this year, this is Orchestra of Spheres, Non-Agonic Now, and this is kind of Afrobeat influenced, polyrhythmic, somewhat experimental kind of indie pop, quite different from anything else on the New Zealand scene at the moment, out on Fire Records from the UK, and nice packaging and a great record, really highly recommended. Obviously one of my top 10 of the year. This is Pumice, Pebbles. It came out in 2007 on CD, released on vinyl for the first time this year on Soft Abuse Records from the US. And this is Pumice at his best, one-man, psychedelic, multi-instrumental, kind of quirky, experimental pop from Stephen Neville. And yeah, some of his best material over a very, very prolific career on this album, Pebbles. And if you want a starting point for the work of Pumice, this would be it. And finally, in this quick roundup of my top 10 New Zealand vinyl releases for 2011, Unknown Mortal Orchestra. And this is come out on, on Fat Possum Records. Go insert here, and put out by one of the brothers from I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here. Ruben Nielsen from the Mint Chicks, and this is his project. He's shifted to Portland, hooked up with some musicians from there, put this out. This is kind of psychedelic pop, and yeah, very, very good album. And his brother Cody, he's been working on a project called Opossum, and they've got an album coming out next year, and it'd be really nice to kind of hear that and put that side by side with this really good effort from Ruben Nielsen here on the Unknown Mortal Orchestra album. And yeah, there are a number of other things that I could have shown in here. It was pretty hard to pick, but yeah, I'd recommend those to anyone. New Zealand, overseas, as a great starting point for New Zealand music from 2011. Thanks for watching my videos throughout the year, and all of your positive comments and feedback. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the new year.